Hey everybody, it's me again, Trudell the Comic God, back with another Sunday study. Now this week, I decided to do sketches on digital because I realized that if I'm doing mostly digital art, shouldn't I be practicing in digital? Doesn't that make sense? I would think so. Anyways, this is my first portrait. I find all my things on Pinterest. Um, it was a very interesting picture of this, who I assume is African guy holding a sword, and it just looked very cool to me. So that's what I went with. And right now you can see me just doing the first initial sketch, figuring out the form. But this one's a little more complete than the ones that I was doing last week. Um, and like I said, it's in digital, just so I can refine my digital abilities, if that makes any sense. I'm doing all my work in digital, so I gotta get more comfortable with it because this week I only did 2 portraits instead of 4 and other stuff, just because digital takes me way longer than pencil sketches. And I don't know why that is, because I've been using it for a while, but it is what it is. So I'm kind of figuring out the form. I go in with a brush that's more like a pencil brush. And I love it just because I could do things like that, just move around stuff in the canvas. That's always beautiful. And now I changed my brush to a more ink-like brush, and I set the bottom layer to 50%, made a new layer, and I'm inking over the pencil drawing I made. This is more clean. This isn't a complete full finish that I'm doing, but it's what you would see in one of my comics, for example. Which I recently released my comic. Go check it out at Trudell the Comic God. It's great. It's called Blood. It's about a prince in an Egyptian esque fantasy land, and he has to save his kingdom. Oh, but that's the premise for the whole book. The first one is him just being a dope boy. So be one of the first people to check it out, huh? Anyways, back to my drawing. I'm just going over the image that I already penciled in, like roughly penciled in. And I have the reference up the whole time while I'm drawing this. So both the sketch and the reference are helping me out here. Because just because it's your sketch doesn't mean you have to be totally faithful to it. You know what I mean? It's honestly better to check your references all the way through, because in the past I've done stuff where I did it off reference first and then threw the reference away, and then it just ended up looking wildly different. So that's always a good thing to do. And for this, I like typing interesting stuff on Pinterest to see where I get. Now I kind of explore the For You page or whatever their version of that is to get these interesting photos, because now what comes up is a bunch of it's honestly fairy girls and like black African-esque warrior looking people. That's what's on my Pinterest, and it's very interesting. I don't even know how it turned to that, but just slowly morphed into that. Oh, and some like anime manga stuff, which is always wonderful in my opinion, but I don't know how it did it because I'm not on Pinterest a lot, and I mostly look for drawing references. So the fact that this is what this type of stuff is what's coming up was interesting to me. but I'm getting this done. It's taking way longer than pencil drawing, but I gotta learn just if I'm gonna make my comics digital. I thought I got to become quicker, and this is the best way to become quicker in it, right? Doesn't make sense for me to become quick in my pencil drawing, which, in my opinion, I'm already quick at and decent in. This is just a whole nother thing, right? It's the same thing, but it's a whole nother thing. You can get better at digital if you know what you're doing in pencil, but it's different enough that it's the feel. It's the feel. There's resistance in paper that I've gotten so used to, and with digital, I don't have any resistance. It's all on a glass screen, right? I use a Windows tablet to do it. I forgot specifically what it's called, but yeah, I use a Windows tablet to do it. So it's just all glass. It's not like a Cintiq texture, which is also different, but it's more similar to paper than just a plain glass screen. And I heard you could get like screen protectors that feel like paper, but I've never seen any good ones for Windows tablets specifically. It's all for the iPad, which is kind of a bummer. Maybe I should check again. That was a while ago that I checked that out. So maybe I'll check again, and then maybe my process will get sped up because it's a new, nice, it's a texture that I'm used to. So I don't know. But that's my only gripe about digital. Other than that, it's beautiful. So many different brushes. If you could see, it says number 1 Tredel's Dope Brushes. That's all the brushes I use for sketching to inking to finish digital painted product. There's a few that are not in there. Like there's a few pattern brushes that I might use that aren't in there right now, but it's all good. Maybe I'll make a video. If anyone's interested, I could make a video explaining my brushes and what I use for what. If you want that, let me know. But yeah, I have many ink brushes and pencil brushes and paint brushes and just like scratchy. I like a little scratchy texture to my line, even though it doesn't look it from far away. If you look at it a little closer, it looks like it's not completely just a straight line. And to shade, I use like screen tone. I really love that look. I'm not a huge fan of the big areas of black, so I think this is a good middle ground for me, where I think it's a 70% Pantone or screen tone and a 30% screen tone are the two things I use to shade. And then I'll use that in black, and then I might do the same thing in white depending how far I'm going with this type of image. Also, sometimes I just straight up paint, but I'm doing this style more than anything nowadays because that's the style I do with my comic, right? And that's what I really want to nurture. And it's great because you can do flat color and then it's still shaded, right? I love that. And the way I'm doing it, I could also fill it in with like a black and change the color and do like a multiply layer and just make it cell shaded instead of the halftones that I got already. But both are good methods. And it really depends on what you like. I like a texture to it. That's why I like the Pantones. I switched now. The first one you've seen, the cool dude with a hat. He looked like he could be a Mortal Kombat character, which I liked. Now this one is not going to look like a Mortal Kombat character at all, I don't think. But maybe. I don't know. But But I like this character because it's definitely a vibe. As you'll see shortly, she's got glasses and she has a drink in her hand. And she's just looking like she's having a good time. And I also liked. It's kind of a shame I didn't color this one because I really did like the colors. It was very red and green. It was red hair and the green top, and the drink was red. It was very nice, and I think the glasses were like a reddish pink type deal. But I definitely think I captured the vibe of this drawing at the end of it, and it's so different from the. Whoops, sorry about that. It's so different from the first one that it felt. I don't know, felt good to draw. I like contrast, right? So it was very different in my opinion, which is good. It's always good to have to be working on different stuff. That way you don't get tired of one thing, right? That's what I think, anyways. That's why in my comic I have a diverse set of characters, so I never get tired drawing any of them. Is that how that works? Is that the same thing? I don't know. But like I said, the first one that now. And again, digital is so great. I love just moving things around. It makes things way easier. The undo, I guess you could erase, but like the undo, the moving things around, it's all great. I also like drawing from models, but I think I'm going to start doing some master studies, do things a little more broad, but try to do master studies in my own style. If that makes any sense. Just because artists before me have already figured out everything. You could kind of see, like, the lighting problems and color problems and all that jazz. But when it comes to these pictures I'm using, a lot of them are from like professional shots. Excuse me, professional shots, and they are also doctored. Like they look like they're photoshopped here and there, which means the lighting isn't necessarily true, right? Well, not necessarily, definitely. It's more often than not, it's studio lighting, or they have multiple lights on them, even when it's outside, right? Or photoshopped or whatever, which is fine for like a portrait pic, but if you want more raw stuff, I think doing it from master studies, like paintings people have already done, are a big thing. This girl's dress, sorry, felt like an abrupt switch, but this girl's dress was very complicated, and I just did my best to simplify it. I could have just sat down and rendered everything. Like, she had flowers on her shirt, and the ruffles were a little more than how I did them, whereas it just looks more ribbony than anything else. So that was my attempt at simplification, because if I'm doing a comic character, that's the most complicated I could do it. I'm not going to do in every frame a super complicated shirt unless I have the shirt or the pattern of the shirt on like a brush where I could just kind of stamp it in there. But that in and of itself would be kind of complicated to make, especially if they're in different poses. So, well, that's why some people do 3D, right? But so this is a super simplified version of the lady's shirt, which I think I did a good job at the end of the day. I think it looks pretty good. Close enough to the reference material, but not exactly it, because it would be way too much time spent on this this drawing. This, like, yeah, the sync drawing. But like I was saying before, I plan to do maybe this is what I'll do next week. Maybe I'll just have master studies next week where I draw in the same style with the same like inking comic booky style, but like with master studies. I'm thinking maybe doing Frazetta or Leyendecker. Those are like my two favorite artists at the moment. Doing some of their drawings, but in my style. So we'll see how that looks at the end of the day. I think it'll look pretty interesting. But yeah, and they've already solved everything, so I think it would, and they're already kind of stylized. So I think when I do it, it'll just be a better way to study. People have been doing master drawings for since art has been a thing, so I'm no better than those guys, so I should be doing it, right? That's what I think anyways. I don't know, but let me know. Is there any artists you think I should look at that are like a more professional version of mine, or kind of like mine? Do you want me to do a master study of anyone in particular? Because there are a lot of cool and interesting painters throughout history that I could draw from. So let me know, and let me know if you're drawing as well down below, because this is kind of meant for that. Almost like a group community thing. I know it's not that long, so like these drawings took me an hour, and it's just a speed draw, an hour each, I think. Maybe a little longer than that. I don't know. It really depends on the picture and how fast I was actually doing it. But let me know if you're drawing too. Also, let me know if you want to see anything specific. So if you want to see me maybe break down how I draw animals or cars. I'm bad at cars, so I'd just be trying it out to try it out. I'm really bad at cars, in my opinion. Just, yeah, no, it's really cars. Anything mechanical I'm not great at when it comes to drawing, but I'm working on it. I should do some of those here. But yeah, let me know if there's anything you want to see me draw in here, see me study from. Maybe I could break it down, and hopefully it'll become easier for you to do. That's part of it. I want you guys to learn while you're watching this, but I also want to get better myself, right? It's a good push-pull there. But yeah, that's really it. The conclusion of this drawing is coming. She didn't have a lot of shadows on her, so I didn't really do that many. But those are the two side by side, and that's the final two drawings. This is all I did, because me switching back to digital, it was just longer to do because I did more finished than last week. But I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, let me know if you want to see anything specific from me, and I'll get back with a video to you guys, because that would be awesome. And also, like, follow, check out my Instagram, do all that jazz. I have a lot of fun stuff. I'm going to be back here next Sunday studying some more stuff. And I have a comic book out, so go check that at thecomicgod.com. Go to the comic section, and then you'll see it there. It's the first issue. It's called Blood, and it's a fun story, and it's the first of many issues. So get ready, because it's a monthly comic. So I hope all you have a beautiful day. See y'all later. Peace.